Hi, this is Dr. J with Primal B, and I'm going to show you how to wax a wired Primal B frame. To see how to wire the frame, watch an earlier video. This one is taking a frame that's been wired and adding wax to it, and this will be what the finished product looks like. So I'm going to start with a wired frame, and I've built a jig for this, which is simply a piece of plywood that fits underneath and holds the wax at the center level of the frame. And I took that piece of plywood, 1/2-inch plywood, and I wrapped mine in parchment paper, just because this way the wax doesn't stick to it. Seems a little bit easier to work with for me, but a piece of regular plywood works just fine as well. So that's my jig, and this will hold the wire at the right height, about 1/2 inch up, which will be close to the wire and making contact with the wax. So first what I do, I'm using these wax sheets. Other tools you need, use a straight edge or a box cutter, and I also use a heat gun. This is a Wagner heat gun. They're about $20 on Amazon. You could probably use this very strong hair dryer too if it's got a hot setting, but this is what I'm using. And so I take these are deep foundations, no wire, just wax foundation, and I plug it in. I usually start one on the bottom, one on the top. I trim the excess wax off. On either side. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting it as close as we can to that side. Then I push the wax down onto those pegs that we wired earlier. You have 2 tabs here. One's supposed to be at the bottom and one at the top. And another peg. Notice up top here we have these 2 tabs as well. And there's a center tab that had that eyelet, the hole that we wired through. You can just kind of push the wax down onto that. So I'm just kind of molding the wax onto those pegs and getting it all into position. Then I'm going to flip this over and take my middle sheet of wax, place it here. I do it this way because it kind of helps to sandwich that wire in between all 3 pieces of wax. I trim the excess off the middle as well. Attach it to those pegs. And under the tabs. And then you're ready to start heating. So all my wax is in position here. And next, I'm going to start heating the wire. Actually, I start kind of a seam in between the 3 pieces of wax. So In between these seams, I'm just about 2 inches away from the wax on the highest setting, going it over it a few times. And then I press that together so the seams are connected. Next, I heat up the wire. And I use the straight edge blade. Just gently push the wire down into that wax. And as the wire is hot and the wax is hot, it sinks in pretty nicely. And then as it cools, just kind of grabs hold of that wire. The wax grabs hold of that wire and it's embedded. So there's a couple different ways to embed the wire. You could also use electrodes. There's a kit for wiring wax foundation onto frames, and that's one method. There's also a spur embedder that you can use, that you run along the wire and attach it that way. But this way works well for me. So I just heat the wire. I'm heating the wax a little bit. And then I'm just pushing the wire down into the wax while it's warm. You do this on the wires that you set on the side, wire you have on the top, and these bracing cross wires. Every once in a while you might want to reheat that wire and wax if it still is give it a little more resistance than you like. And just go back and tuck the wire in wherever it looks like it's needed. Every once in a while I might go a little too hot on